Today in our 2015 GMC Sierra 3500, we'll be installing the B&W Custom Underbed Installation Kit for B&W Companion fifth wheel trailer hitches. Part number BWGN-RK1012-5W. This fifth wheel installation kit is designed to let you install your B&W Companion fifth wheel trailer hitches. The adapters are part numbers BWR-VK3500 or part number BWR-VK3400. The underbed design of the kit allows for full truck bed access, and when you're ready, it's under 5 minutes to convert your empty truck bed into a fifth wheel hitch. We'll start off by unlocking our B&W hitch and installing our fifth wheel adapter. We have ours pre-assembled, but you can adjust the uprights here depending on your truck and trailer combination. At this point, the hitch is ready to attach to a trailer. There's a little clip here that you can release. Basically, it's a safety pin. Then you swing the handle out and you watch the jaws open. You're ready to back onto your trailer. Once you're secure onto your trailer, you can reinstall the clip. And since this fifth wheel installation kit doubles as a gooseneck hitch, when you're not towing your fifth wheel, you can remove it. This frees up the hole to reinsert the hitch ball when you need it. All right, we're going to start out underneath our vehicle, right above our rear axle, above our exhaust. We have two cross members in our bed. One towards the rear, one's towards the front. Now we have this heat shield. We need to cut this heat shield out in between those cross members. As you can see, I made a yellow mark going across in the back and the front where we need to cut it. We get a pair of 10 snips and we'll just work our way across. Now if you have an angle grinder, you can use a cutoff wheel on it to do this too. All right, now we're going to make a mark in the center of our bed at the appropriate measurement for your bed length. Refer to your instructions for that. Now you're measuring from the back at the end of the bed, not from the tailgate. Make sure you don't make that mistake. So you'll measure the distance between your wheel wells, divide that by 2, and that'll get you the exact center of the bed. We'll make sure our mark is there. Okay, we'll just take a center punch and make a mark. And we'll use that to guide our pilot hole. Okay, we'll use this pilot hole for our hole saw to make a 4-inch diameter hole. It's a good idea to take some spray paint and spray along the inner edge so you don't have to see any shiny metal, and you'll help prevent rust. Since our truck has a bed liner, we can just use some flat black spray paint. All right, now we're on the passenger side of our truck on the wheel well. There's a wiring harness here that's slightly in our way. We're going to pop it off with a trim panel tool here. You can use a flathead screwdriver if you don't have a trim panel tool, but the trim panel tool does make it easier. Just pop it off there. That'll give us plenty of room to work. Now, right in this area here above our bump stop, we need to make a notch in the bed of the truck. We're going to make a notch that's 2 inches wide. So we'll just measure off 2 inches here. And then we'll just go up at an angle and then down, forming a triangle like that. Now this notch that we're cutting is so we have room to slide our cross rails in place to attach our gooseneck head to. You don't have to be in this exact location. As long as you're somewhat in between both of these bed supports right here, you'll be fine. I find right above the bump stop's the easiest place to go, so that's where we're going. So use a rotary tool to make our cut. Now, like we did on the bed, we'll just hit this with a dab of paint to keep it from rusting. Okay, now we'll take our front rail. We know it's the front rail because it's the one that's angled. And we'll insert it into that notch that we made. And we'll just slide it on through until we get to the other side of the truck. Then we'll slide it to the front of the vehicle. Now we'll take our rear cross member and insert it. Now I want to point out that the holes are offset on it. We want it so the hole the hole is closest to the bottom. Now when we insert this, we're going to have to come in sideways like this, and then once we have it in across the frame all the way, we'll just rotate it a quarter turn so the hole's face down. All right, now to help twist it, you can just use a pair of channel locks and twist it, and you can slide it towards the back, just like that. As you can see with the position that we have it now, the bolts will come in horizontal and the holes are facing closest to the bottom of the rail. That's exactly how we want it. Now before we push our front rail all the way forward, we're going to go to the second hole on the driver's side right here. Place one of our 1/2 inch by 1.5 inch long bolts on. Place this rubber O-ring on. And this will keep the bolt from falling out onto our gas tank when we raise our center section on up. And we'll just push it down as far as we possibly can. And that holds the bolt in place. And we'll slide our rail forward. Just like that. Now we'll raise our center section up with the handle mechanism here for the ball latch facing towards the driver's side. The offset hole will be closer to the back of the truck. And we'll place on this lock washer and one of our nuts. Okay, with 2 of the bolts started on the front rail, the hitch is now held in place and we can adjust it and install the rest of our hardware. Bolts go through the rail into the center section with our lock washer and a nut. I'll just do everything hand tight right now. Okay. With our front rail loosely bolted to our center section, we have our center section pushed up against our bed right now. We'll slide our back rail to the front to match up with the center section. Then we'll take one of our 1/2 inch by 2 inch bolts, put on a lock washer and a flat washer, and we'll bolt them together. Okay, we'll get them started by hand. We'll do the same for the 4 bolts in the back rail. All right, now that we have our 4 bolts holding our center section of the rear rail, we'll assemble our bolt guides. Take one of our 5/8 bolts, we'll thread it into the hole. Once we have it threaded in the hole, it'll grab onto the corners of our bolt to keep it from backing off. May need to snug it down a little bit with a wrench to get it to start. So there's one. Then we have shorter ones here. We'll do the same thing. All right, with our bolt ran all the way down now, we'll pry up a little bit on these notches here to keep the bolt from spinning off. This will grab onto the corner of the bolt head. Okay. Okay, that'll keep our bolt from backing off. We'll do the same for all 4 of these bolt guides that we have. Now we're back in our passenger side wheel well now. Since we have our center section bolted to both our rails, we can clip our wiring harness back up to the spot that it was. Just get it out of our way. Now we'll take our short bolt guide here. This is for our front. It'll come out this hole here. We'll insert it through the hole next to it that's larger. And we'll just push it on through just like that. We'll do the same on the other side. Now our rear bolt guide is this longer handle. It'll go in through this hole on the inside of our frame right above our bump stop. So I'll push it in, work it towards the back of the truck, and then it'll come out a hole on the outside of the truck. All right, here's the hole that it's going to come out. You place your finger in it while you run the bolt handle through. You can feel it, and you just push it on through. We'll do the same for the other side. Okay, with both of our bolts in place in our frame, we'll take our frame bracket and we'll slide it into position. we'll place on a flat washer, a lock washer, and then we'll thread on a nut. We'll repeat the same process for the other side. Okay, now we'll take a bolt, lock washer, flat washer, and we'll connect our rails to our frame bracket, thread a nut on, take another bolt, lock washer, flat washer, and we'll do the back rail. Sometimes it's easier if you pull the rail away from the hole a little bit to help line it up. Once you have it started, you can snug it down for a wrench a bit using a 3/4 inch wrench. And we'll repeat the same process on the other side. All right, now that we have our frame plates bolted to our cross rails, we can start tightening down our center section to the cross rails. Just use a 3/4 inch wrench and a ratcheting wrench or a socket to snug the front section down. And you just need a ratcheting wrench or a ratchet for the back. All right, with all of our center section bolts snugged up to our rails, we'll now tighten down our frame brackets, starting with the 5/8 diameter bolts using a 15/16 socket on the nut. Okay, we'll repeat the same process on the other side. All right, with those snugged down, we'll now snug down our frame brackets to our rails. 3/4 inch sockets again and wrenches. Do the same on the other side. Okay, now we'll torque all of our hardware to the amount specified in the instructions. Now that we got all the bolts underneath torqued, we'll torque our rails to the side plates. Now we'll torque our frame brackets to the frame. And we'll do the same on the other side. Okay, now that we have all of our hardware torqued down, we'll install our handle for our latch. Let's insert the handle in through this hole here, slide back, bring it through, take our carriage bolt, we'll install it, place our handle onto the bolt, and we'll install the nut. And then we'll snug the nut on down. With the handle tightened down, we'll now drill our pilot holes for our safety chain loops. We're just going to go through the holes that exist in the gooseneck head, 2 on each side of it. Now we'll repeat the same process on the other side. Now that we have our pilot holes drilled, we'll use a 1/2 inch step bit or a 1/2 inch drill bit to drill straight down through the truck bed. All right, now just like we did around the gooseneck opening, take some spray paint and we'll spray so we don't have to worry about any rust in the future where we drill down. Now we'll take our safety chain loops and we'll drop them down through the holes. And we'll go underneath and attach our hardware to secure them to the gooseneck head. All right, we're back underneath the truck now. We'll take our springs. Bottom end is the small end here. Slide it over our U-bolt for our safety chain loop. Thread on a nut. Do the same on both ends of the loop. I'll repeat the same process for the other loop. Okay, we'll use a 3/4 inch socket now and we'll tighten down those nuts until they're flush with the end of the U-bolt. Do the same for the other one. All right, now that we have everything installed, we'll show you how to operate the handle in order to install your ball. So So you just grab your handle on the driver's side wheel well, pull out, turn it clockwise, and then it latches open. Now we can insert our ball. All right, now that our ball's inserted, we can grab our handle again, just turn it counterclockwise and release, and it latches the ball in place, and it's secure and won't go anywhere. And that completes our installation of the B&W Custom Underbed Installation Kit for B&W Companion fifth wheel trailer hitches, part number BWGN-RK1012-5W on our 2015 GMC Sierra 3500.
Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com.